Hi guys, good morning. Today we're going to be reading a passage called Soccer Practice together during our reading time. I'm going to be reading this passage with you, and what I'd like us to focus on is the characters' traits. So when I say character traits, I want you to think about what are words that we can use to describe the characters in this passage. We can determine the words that describe the characters in this passage by thinking about the way that they act towards themselves and other characters in the passage, the things that they say, or the things that they are thinking. So, all of the things that characters do, think, or say are clues that help us determine the character's traits. So we're going to read this together. I'll be thinking out loud while I'm reading, and then I'm going to walk you through the organizer that you'll have to do at the very end. Okay, and then after we're done with this together, then you're going to go on to read the next passage on your slideshow or your packet by yourselves. All right, I'm taking a look at the picture and the title of this passage. It's called Soccer Practice, and I see that there are some children on a soccer field. They look like illustrations, not photographs, and it's helping me to make an inference that this passage is probably a narrative or a fictional passage, a story meant for entertaining us. I noticed that there is, let's see, in the background, we have a girl kicking the soccer ball. We have people who are watching the girl kick the ball, a boy who's waving. There are some kids in the front. One boy is talking, it looks like. The other boy is listening. I noticed that everybody has smiles on their faces, so they seem like they're pretty happy. All right, by gathering all of that background knowledge, it helps me to understand what the story may be about. I'm going to go ahead and start reading. It's okay if you join the team. We've only been playing for a few weeks. I'll explain the rules, Cole said to his friend Vince. That actually makes me wonder if maybe down here, this guy might be Cole and this guy might be Vince, because it said that Cole was talking to his friend Vince, and I'm wondering if Vince maybe was just asking about if he could join the team. All right, back to the passage. Vince had just moved into the neighborhood. He and Cole had become friends right away. The boys were at Cole's soccer practice. His team had a game coming up on Saturday. So I'm also thinking right away that let's see, that Cole, the friend that already lived there, must be rather friendly, because it said that when Vince moved into the neighborhood, he and Vince became friends right away. So that also tells me that Vince is probably very friendly as well. Hey everyone, began Cole. Vince is going to start playing with us. He's only played a few times, so help him out when he needs it, okay? Actually, this tells me that Cole is probably rather brave, because he announces to the whole team that he has a friend who wants to begin playing, and he might not know how to play very well. So he's asking his team to help him out. That's kind, and it's brave because he's speaking up on Vince's behalf to the whole team. Here we go. The rest of the team nodded. A few of the kids welcomed Vince to the team. As practice went on, everyone did their best to remind Vince about the rules. Everyone except Ben, that is. Let's find out more about Ben. Anytime Vince made a mistake, Ben was the first to let him know. In the beginning, Ben kept his comments to Vince quiet. But as practice went on, they got louder and louder. That's telling me that Ben maybe isn't quite as polite as the other teammates. None of the other kids said anything to Ben. They just looked at him and shook their heads. But they could tell that Vince was not feeling confident. So that can happen when somebody is constantly kind of like picking on you or pointing out the things that you're not doing right. It can reduce your confidence or how you feel about yourself. And it can make you feel like maybe you're not good enough, or maybe you don't even deserve to be there. It can give you a really negative feeling. All right. Tim and Miguel already knew how mean Ben could be. They wanted to say something to him, but they were afraid. The last time they'd stood up to Ben, it hadn't gone well. Oof. So it sounds to me like Ben has a pattern of being mean to other people, and when people try to stand up to him, he's not responsive or not polite about it. In fact, it almost sounds like Ben is displaying some behaviors that we could consider bullying. When the coach called a break, the kids came off the field. Cole could tell something was wrong with Vince. Tim and Miguel found Cole, and the three of them talked for a few minutes. Before practice started up again, the three boys stood together in front of Ben. Okay, so those three friends are really about to show some bravery, I think, and some very high confidence. They believe in themselves that they can band together to speak up for their new friend who is being treated poorly by Ben. Let's see. Remember that you didn't know everything when you started playing, Cole said to Ben. No one picked on you. Don't pick on anyone else, or don't play. Sorry, Vince, said Ben. It won't happen again. And it never did. Interesting. So Ben, who we would consider being mean in the beginning, once those kids stood up for their friend Vince and told Ben that they weren't going to stand for that anymore, sounds like Ben changed his ways. Okay, so that's good that he's being flexible and that he's maybe learned his lesson, because it says that he never did it again. Now, switching over to the graphic organizer that you have to fill out on your Google slideshow or on your packet about the soccer practice passage, what you'll do is read the key question. So it says, what makes someone a good team member? Okay, we were asking ourselves what makes someone a good team member. We've already read the passage, but you can go back to the passage if you need to reread it. And you're going to look for details in the story about the main character that will help us answer that question. Now, in order to help us answer the question, we're going to fill out this graphic organizer. The main character of this story is Cole. Right? So he's the friend that is already on the team, and he becomes friends with Vince and is the one that sticks up for him. So we would say that Cole is the main character. If I had to think of some traits or words that describe Cole, I would go back to the passage and think, well, what does Cole do? What are things that he says? What are some things that he's thinking, if it includes any of that? And I can come up with words that describe Cole's character traits. So some of the words that I would come up with are that Cole is kind, right? Another one is that he is inclusive. So he likes to include everybody and not let people feel left out. He's also brave because he stuck up for his friend and he got his teammates to be on his side. And he's also caring. He really cares about other people's feelings. Okay, so those are all words that I would use to describe Cole. And now down here, the question is asking us to answer this question, the key question, what makes someone a good team member? So basically what you're going to do is think about Cole's character traits and try to put those into complete sentences. Usually when I when I answer a question, I like to use some of the question words in my answer. So I might start off with, a good team member is blah, blah, blah. So I might say a good team member is caring because they look out for other people's feelings. A good team member is also inclusive because they want to make sure that everybody gets to play and everybody's feelings are being met and that they are being listened to. All right, so basically you're taking these character traits and turning them into sentences that will help you answer what makes someone a good team member. Now, when you're done with this, you can go ahead and read the next passage on your by yourself. It is called Feeding the Hungry with Music. And then you're going to answer the or fill in the graphic organizer on your own in the slideshow or the packet. All right, guys, do your very best work. We'll be checking. Great job.